Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Green-Fry and I am the Director of Communications and Marketing at the Wellesley College Alumni Association. I am happy to be doing this webinar on the Wellesley Hive today, and I am going to share with you an overview of what the Hive is, show you how to access it, show you around the platform, and give you some guidelines and tips for using it, and hopefully you will be a power user by the end of this session. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my browser with all of you. And I am going to let you know that your best bet before you get onto the Hive is to know your Wellesley login. It is really important that you have your login ahead of time because even though you can access the Hive using LinkedIn or Facebook, eventually you will need your Wellesley login. And so we are going to start by coming to wellesley.edu, and I'm going to show you how to access your Wellesley login, or at least have your password reset if you don't know it already. So at wellesley.edu, you're going to come over to the Alumni tab in the top navigation. You're going to click on Online Community. And if you scroll down, you'll see that the main URL for the online community, in case you wanted to visit your alumni class or your geographic club or your shared interest group website, you can find them through alum.wellesley.edu. But for our purposes today, we are going to just access the Wellesley login page. So if I click on that, you will be brought to a page with a lot of details about your Wellesley login. The login is usually your first initial last name, I believe up to 8 characters, at wellesley.edu. If you don't know your password, there is an automatic reset app. That's only been developed within the last couple of years, and so it's a really nice feature. You can click here in order to get to it. There will be a few things that you need, and so this information is all here for you. You will need your last name when you were a student, your date of birth, your class year, and the email address that the college has on file for you. But it's very simple to use if you have that info. Your other alternative is to contact the college help desk at helpdesk@wellesley.edu or 781-283-7777, and they will be happy to help you with your Wellesley login. So let's assume you've got all that now. You know your Wellesley login, and we are going to go to the Hive. First, just sort of a note that the URL for the Hive is very simple, and sometimes users have sort of a mental obstacle about how to get to a site. It feels like you can't remember it, or it might have a long URL. This is very simple, just hive.wellesley.edu. That's all there is, and it's very easy to share and communicate and promote to your fellow alumni and faculty and staff. So we encourage you to just sort of keep that URL top of mind. And then just a little bit of background about the Hive. The Wellesley College Alumni Association and Career Education at the college created a mentorship working group with a number of alumni and students, as well as staff, and over about a year and a half or so, the working group, which included a couple of Business Leadership Council members, I should note, the working group put together a list of recommendations, priorities. Students were involved, as I noted, and so there was a lot of thought that went into the development of the Hive. It is a platform that is strictly for Wellesley alumni and faculty and staff, so it's just for our community. There are no other institutions members within it, and so we feel that it's a really good alternative to LinkedIn. And in fact, we really want you to use the Hive instead of LinkedIn because it has been customized just for our community. So what is the Hive? Well, the Hive is our mentoring and networking platform. It was launched in May of 2017, so it is just about 7 or 8 months old at this point. And at this time, we already have more than 4,000 students and alumni in the Hive. There are also faculty and staff as well. There are usually 15 to 20 job listings available at any time. Already 3,000 connections have been made, and 300 or so mentoring relationships have been formed. There are also 8 groups within the Hive, and we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. The career education team has been kind enough to delete my Hive account for me so that I can start from scratch and give you a quick overview of how to create your profile in the Hive if you have not already done so. So, if you go to hive.wellesley.edu and you click on Join the Wellesley Hive, you get these 4 options. And even though you can use LinkedIn or Facebook or email to begin, we recommend that you use the Wellesley sign-in. That is going to populate your profile with some of the initial information that the college has for you, and then you can update your information as you go. So I'm going to click Wellesley sign-in, and I am being asked to authenticate myself. And I am going to create my own account. Now, that process of seeing that you had your authentication, that's what we call single sign-on, and that screen that you just saw me enter my information for, that is what authenticates you within the Wellesley community. So again, that Wellesley login page on the college website is really important to begin. So just a few minutes on creating an account in the Hive. I'm going to click on Continue. And I am joining as an alumna. Now, I will just provide full disclosure, which is that I am not a Wellesley alumna, but for today's purposes, I am happy to be. And so I'm going to click on that, Wellesley College. So that will be pre-populated for you, obviously, but then you can go through and populate the fields here. I'm going to add bachelor's degree, and I will add a graduation year. And for now, I'm going to continue for brevity's sake, but you can save and add another degree. So you can make this as long and detailed as you would like. This is great. You can upload your own picture. I'm not going to do that at this time, but it's very easy. It will allow you to click through and find a file on your computer if you'd like, or take a photo with the camera on your device. So that's a really nice feature. I'm going to X out of that. And I'm going to develop a headline. So once you've got your photo, and you'll note that this says profiles with your photo are more likely to receive connection requests. It's always nice to know who you're going to be connecting with. Headline. There are a couple of examples here: product marketing manager, social entrepreneur, tech enthusiast. I'm going to say communications professional. And again, this is the first sort of glimpse of you that a student or another alumna will see. And so it's important that you have that little branding piece here. It will help others find you more accurately. Location, Wellesley. And again, it will come up with suggestions. Current company and organization, Wellesley College Alumni Association. And my current role, Director of Communications and Marketing. The fields that have the asterisk, just like with many other sites, that means that they're required. If I wanted to, I could add a more detailed description of my role, but for now we will leave that and click Continue. How can I help? Now this is a really key part because, as it says, you are just a couple steps away from joining an amazing community. The how can I help part is going to give your connections guidance as far as what you are interested in doing in the Hive. So I am going to choose communications, and maybe I'll choose education, higher education. If there are others that are not in this box, you can add them here and then click Add New. But all you have to do is click those checkboxes. Mentor help topics. Academia versus industry, board service, career industry trends. I'm going to click on that and maybe community engagement and click Continue. When you get to the Your Preferences screen, make sure that you read some of these details because they are really important in the way that you're perceived and displayed in the Hive. These little question marks will give you a quick pop-up window that instructs you on what exactly these questions mean and what kind of answers you're providing. So it says you can choose no to both questions and only take on the role of mentee. So it's possible if you were a student, you might just want to be a mentee, or if you're an alumna who really is strictly looking for mentoring help and you want to be mentored, then feel free to click no for both of those. At this time, I am willing to be a flash mentor, and that does mean one-time conversations, that is informational interviews. I can receive new inbound messages or meeting requests from how many mentees per month? Let's max that out at 2. Am I willing to be a long-term mentor? And this refers to relationships that are sustained over a period of time. So I'm going to say yes to that as well. And how many long-term mentees at the same time? Let's just say 1. And so this is a way of limiting how many contacts you might be getting at any given time. For those alums or students who are concerned that they might be connected with too many times, this is a really good way to prevent that from happening, and it allows you to manage your connections. Groups. Wellesley offers career, community, and special topic groups. I would like to join some groups today. There are discussion threads and networking opportunities within the Hive itself, and so these are subsets. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to select the group that I want to join. I'm in communications, so I'm going to choose Arts, Communications, and Media. And I will also choose Identity and Career. So you can see that the 8 groups are related to different industries, and these are aligned with the communities that have been created within the Career Education Office. So everything is well aligned for students and alumni so that the support and mentoring and networking is all being managed in sort of a strategic way. Identity and Career is also an interesting group. We developed that group so that a member could ask questions about, for example, how being transsexual, being transgender might affect her career, his career. There are options for discussing your ethnicity, for example, your race. And it's a great way to provide guidance in those areas if you're comfortable doing that. So I'm going to click Save. And now that I've selected those groups, I'm going to click Continue. We're just a couple steps away, so we are almost done. And these particular drop-downs and selections, none of these are required. I don't believe they were required for groups either. So again, if you want to just do a quick profile with your title and your current role description, that's fine. But you can also select religious, spiritual, or philosophical traditions. So it will bring you to a pop-up menu. You can pick one or more of these. And alumni clubs or groups. And what's nice about this is, so for example, for the Business Leadership Council, we can click on that, and I will now be identified as a BLC member. I'm also going to add, since I am originally from Connecticut, let's say the Connecticut group, and let's see what else we can find. And perhaps I want to add the New York Wellesley Club and save. Fellowships and Wellesley-funded internships. These align with all of the fellowships and internships offered through the college. So if you received any of these or participated in any of these programs as a student, or if it's an alumna fellowship, you can choose those here. International college student status, first generation college student status, ethnicity, gender, orientation, and so forth. Again, none of these is required. So feel free to pass over or pick the ones that are most relevant to you. And click continue. It's important, the mentorship working group discussed in depth the expectations and responsibilities of being a member of the Hive. And so we developed this professional responsibility agreement, which gives you the guidelines and goals of the program. And it's important that you read through it and understand what those expectations are, whether you are a mentee or whether you are a mentor. Scroll down, click on I've read the entire agreement above, and then you will draw your signature, which for me is not going to be too easy with this trackpad, but I'm going to do it anyway. And click next. Congratulations on joining the Wellesley Hive. Your next step is to explore the platform. So we are going to get into the meat of the Hive. We're going to click Get Started. And you can see that I have a dashboard here, just to show you around this landing page. So you arrive here and you have a mentorship link, you have groups, and you can invite your classmates. You will also be given recommended people. Right now I don't have anybody yet, but you can click on Get Recommendations and take the matching quiz. And there are opportunities, so these are current job listings in the Hive. And as I said, there are usually about 20 or so on average. Resources, discussion groups. These are all really useful, worth exploring. But I am going to give you your first glimpse at using the Hive by searching. And searching the Hive is really easy, really convenient. You just click on this button in the top navigation. So there are 4,272 results. That is for, if you scroll to the very top of this sidebar of filters, you can look to see what the users are. Right now, all the users are included, so all students, all alumni, and all faculty and staff are part of this 4,272 number. If I wanted to only search alums, I can uncheck the student and faculty staff boxes and just leave alumna on, and I can click Update. And now I can see that there are nearly 3,000 alumni, and they will appear right now in random order. So you can tell where somebody lives with their location. You can see what their status is. You can find out where they might be working right now. And if you wanted to look at their full profile, let's take a look at Jessie Van Amberg. Full profile, you can see that she is Senior Associate Editor at Women's Health Magazine in New York City. And you can look at past and current experience, and if you scroll all the way down, you can see a little bit more about her background and education and the areas in the Hive in industries of expertise where she is willing to help: media, publishing, social media. So lots of really great information here. I'm going to click back. And right next to the full profile button is the Let's Connect button. And if I wanted to click that, I think I'm going to wait and do that in a minute. The other thing I wanted to just do is show you a few more of the filters that are available. So I am an art history major, and I am going to say that I would like to see other art history majors. And I am now down to 160 results in the Hive. Really just very quick, very easy, and a few other filters that are useful. Availability, so you can see if someone is available as a flash mentor. You can click on industries of expertise and select which ones you are wanting to drill down into. Mentor help topics. Is there a specific area that you would like to get some help with? So groups, degree types, location, preferred class year, etc. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm going to click into alumni clubs and groups, and I am going to look for the Business Leadership Council and click Update. And I have one result. Now that's because I kept the filter on for major. If I go back up to majors and I get rid of art history and then click on Update, I now have 32 members of the Hive who are also part of the Business Leadership Council. Very easy, again, really simple. Lots of ways to slice and dice the data to find exactly what you're looking for. Ethnicity, gender, all of those areas of your profile that you can fill out, you can also filter by here. So that's why it's important that when you develop your profile, even if you don't do it the first time around, to come back in and flesh it out in a little bit more detail will be really helpful to the other alumni and students who might be looking for support and connection. So we've created our profile, we've conducted a search, and now I'm going to show you the groups function. I'm going to come up to this top navigation, click on groups, and I had selected these two groups, Career Community for Arts, Communications, and Media, and Identity and Career. And you can see just very quickly that there are over 1,100 members in both of these groups. If I want to go in now and take a look at their discussions, this one doesn't have a very recent one, but about 3 months ago, one of our career education staff members posted Women in the Workplace 2017. How to answer employee questions about a coworker's ADA accommodations. So there are a lot of really good, useful bits of information here. You can also see who the other members of the group are. And there might be some resources, or not, no sources for this group yet. But I'm going to go back to groups, and now I'm going to click on, rather than my groups, I'm going to click on all groups so I can see again and refresh my memory about the 8 groups that are currently in existence. Now, as I said, I've joined those 2. If I wanted to join the 3rd, let's say I wanted to join the Health Professionals group, I can click in here. I can take a quick look at the overview of this group. You can see who the administrative staff are within the Career Education Office, and I could join the group if I wanted. The next thing that I'd like to show you is opportunities. And this is useful for everybody. Opportunities are jobs. Let's see if we can take a look and see how many there are at this time. 4, 6, 8, 10. It looks like way more than 20 this time around. Yeah, lots and lots here. And some of these are going to be senior level, some will be more junior for students, for young alumni, but really quite varied in their scope and level and industry. Now, the nice thing about the opportunities section is that you can actually post a job, and so we really do encourage alumni to make jobs that are available in your organization, make those available to other students and to alumni in the Hive, and it's very easy to do that. All you have to do is click this Post a Job button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and I can say WCAA, or I can enter a different company. You can provide a description, you could add a logo, and you can provide a little bit of basic information. I believe that you can also include a link within the profile of the job so that you don't have to repeat an entire job description, but you can actually include a link to a website or to a job listing page so that you don't have to repeat everything. But really, really convenient, really easy. Once you have posted this, you will get an email notification when someone applies. So that's great. You're able to know if somebody has applied to a job at your company or nonprofit or group. So that is opportunities. Resources is another section of the Hive that gives you background information and FAQs, tips for job shadowing. Oh, that took a little bit of time to load rather. But background information, what is mentorship, managing expectations, tips for job shadowing, and these are great not just as a member of the Hive, but they may be useful to you in your organization. So tips for informational interviewing. Are you planning to switch to another industry? Building your personal advisory board. All of these are available to you in the Hive. Lots of good information. And you can also comment on them if you wish. Mentor resources, mentee resources, and then the agreement that you signed when you first developed your profile. It lives in full right here. We also have an FAQ section, frequently asked questions, what happens when I sign up, how can I get the most out of this program, and background information for both mentees and mentors. So you can know that this is always there for your reference if you need it. The next section of the Hive that I'm going to give you a quick overview of is the discussion thread. Looks like very recently, just a few hours ago, someone was in search of a very early babysitter. So a part-time job opportunity for a student or perhaps a local young alum might have some free time, but this is a really nice option for just having a discussion topic. Next generation of STEM leaders, are you interested? This was posted 4 days ago, and you can see whether there have been any comments or replies. We just have a couple more sections of the Hive to look at. The next section is events. And the events section, right now there are no upcoming events listed in the Hive, but you can see some of the past ones. There were a couple of them listed in December. One was in Concord, one was a virtual webinar, an event in New York City in November, and just a wide variety of events for different industries and levels of expertise. Also terrific opportunity within the Hive is your ability to create an event. So if your company is having a recruiting session and you would like to post it on the Hive, all you have to do is come over to this Create Event button in the upper right-hand corner, click on Event, select, let's say, Workshop, or no, Recruiting Event and Career Fair, and click Create Event. And I can fill out all of this detail about me being the host, a headline, a description. You can just put a link right in here, so you don't have to write everything from scratch. You can just add the link to your company's recruiting information for the event. add some basic information like date, time, location, address, cover photo. If you want something like your company logo, you can add all of that here. So we've gone through a search, we've looked at groups, we've looked at job opportunities and resources, the discussion threads, events, and finally, share. We really hope that once you've started to use the Hive and you feel comfortable with it and you understand the value of it and you appreciate all the connections that you've made and have the potential to make, we really hope that you will connect the Hive with others and that you will send a referral link by email. So if you know that some of your classmates or your geographic club members have not yet joined the Hive, you can add their email addresses here. And you can send them an email that will say, hey, can you please join the Hive? You can also share it on Facebook, you can share on Twitter, you can share on LinkedIn. And that is the Hive in a nutshell. If you have any questions about the Hive itself, you can go to this Get Support, that little question mark in the upper right-hand corner. You can have a quick access to a data repository of help questions, general questions. If you have any bugs or issues, you can report them, and you can suggest feature ideas. You can set up your notifications. Right now I don't have any set, but you are able to customize those so that if somebody applies to a job or replies to a thread on the discussion board, you will be notified of those. And finally, you can also receive mentorship messages here. So as you can see, it is a really full, really robust program. We're really quite excited about it. We really hope that many more alumni will join and understand the value of the Hive and promote it to classmates and clubmates, shared interest group members, anyone who is a Wellesley alumna, a Wellesley student, a Wellesley faculty or staff member is more than welcome to join the Hive and start using it for networking and mentoring. So that is the Hive, and I am happy to have shown it to you. I always welcome questions. My email address is ifrey@wellesley.edu, ifrey@wellesley.edu. Or if you have a general question about the Hive that you'd like answered, the Career Education team will be happy to respond to you. And that general inbox is hive@wellesley.edu. Again, that's hive@wellesley.edu. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the Hive.